It is way too technical for me at this very moment. I had to do the whole account and everything. It was crazy. Just to figure that out this very moment.
All right, we are live.
All right. We're just gonna give it a couple of minutes then for the rest of the board to join. Who are we missing? Doug. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Christy. I see Scott. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Diane.
Doug's not going to
Hi.
make it this evening, Nicole.
Okay. Hi, Dennis. And Matt is also working.
Yeah, he joined us for our meeting, our subcommittee meeting. But he was he was driving around while he was doing the meeting.
Yep. All righty. So I think we have enough here. I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. And who has a flag? Anybody have a flag for us? We're still gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance.
That
No
is
flag.
great.
Give me a second. I'll share. I'll put
All
it.
right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Stephanie.
Appreciate it, Stephanie.
Are we live streaming this? Because the live stream's
Yes,
not up.
we are. And
It says
it
waiting for webmaster.
Okay.
It's probably not on the OBS stream. So they'd have to go to the RSU4 page. Just live on the RSU4 page instead of the link. Yep, it's up there.
So it's still the Zoom though, right, Stephanie?
Yep. So we have the Zoom, and then they are gonna, instead of finding like where it normally says school board meeting December 10th, if they just go to the RSU4 YouTube page, the live stream is there.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Sam. I got distracted.
they also need to be able to attend the Zoom. We have to
The
allow public comment.
the YouTube, there's people waiting, it shows, but it says waiting for RSU4 webmaster.
Nope, it's live.
I could show you my video. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it.
Nope. It's just bright.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's this one. So you go to the page.
Nicole, they can join the
Yeah,
Zoom.
they can also join. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
They
so
can join the Zoom.
they can get
got a
into
flag.
this, right?
I do too.
Yeah.
It's working.
You guys are the best. Look at that.
All right. So are we good to continue? Oh, nice, Diane. I didn't hear who said it, so I see it in the picture now. Video.
Diane, that's great.
Do you think we're good? We have confirmation of live stream and everything? All right, we're gonna go ahead with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending this evening. We do have an agenda adjustment, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Would you like me to rattle them off, Nicole, for you?
Yeah, that'd be great because I had it open on my phone. Now that's disappeared. But oh, there it is. I don't want to open this and lose this.
No, you're totally fine. I got you.
Got it.
So we have two agenda adjustments this evening. The first is to add 7.3 to the agenda, and that's to consider a field trip request by the sports management class to Boston on January 13th, 2026. And also 7.4, to conduct a first reading of policy JKAA, use of physical restraint and seclusion.
Okay, great. Any questions, concerns, anybody? All right, we're gonna move on to 2.1 to approve the minutes of November 19th, 2025 Board of Directors meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call for the vote, and remote, we have to do roll call. So I'm gonna go in order on my screen here. So Robbie,
Yes.
Christy,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Dennis, you're next, but you would abstain. You weren't sworn in yet. But you're here, welcome. For our first meeting with you. Diane, you're next.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and I do not see any other, so Doug and Matt are not here. That's the rest, right? And yes, for me as well. Thank you for having patience with me, guys. So now we have public comment. So we're just going to give it a quick minute, see if there's anybody from the public who is here or wants to speak. I don't see anybody in, but we'll give them a minute in case they hop in.
Just so you know, Nicole, Matt is here. I can see him on the.
I just saw that name pop up.
Yeah.
Hi, Matt. And that's Matt, our Matt.
It is our Matt, yes.
Yes, it's me.
Nobody
Hi,
else
Matt.
is Matt but ours.
I just want to make sure there was no not a public person that we would gonna talk to Matt as if he was a different Matt on our board now. All right, so I'm not seeing anything, hearing anything for public comment. We're gonna go ahead and move on. No petitions or communications. I have nothing.
I have one, Nicole, that came in this morning. So we have a 10-day notice from the RSU for administrative assistants at central office staff with their intent to bargain. So we'll need to talk to them about that.
And that was formally received today?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, do you have, next on to reports, do you have a superintendent's report for us this evening?
I do, yes. It's brief, but I'm happy to share it with you guys. So hello, everybody, and thank you for a few moments of your time to share the latest and greatest in RSU4. I've had the pleasure of attending a couple of night events as of late. The first was visiting the town of Litchfield Select Board meeting. I provided some updates regarding the start of the school year and outlined our budget process. It was nice to touch base with them, share some ideas and some ways of collaborating together. So it was a fruitful conversation and meeting. As you guys know, on Monday, we had a productive special board meeting to welcome our new board member, Dennis Mallier from Sabatis. I gave an overview of the roles and responsibilities of being a board member, and I thank all of you, as we had a perfect attendance for the meeting, and you guys provided some wonderful advice and support to our new members, so I appreciate that. Yesterday afternoon, I attended the dress rehearsal for the first grade winter concert. I was able to sit in the audience with the kindergarten students, which was a blast. The first graders, under the support of our teacher, Ella Skazafava, did an amazing job and singing and dancing their hearts out. And I'm sure the performance for the school community was just as impressive last night. Let's see. Today, I attended the Western Maine Superintendent Association meeting in Auburn. The area superintendent discussed the latest policies and laws along with their current events. It's a great way to connect and collaborate, especially since new at the role. And at last here, just as the last meeting before the holidays, I wish everybody has a happy and healthy holiday season. So thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Marco. So we have director's reports this evening. I don't have a list of, so do you have a?
That's okay. So director's reports were in your packet. If you guys recall, I was going to put those in ahead of time so you could look through them. I do have some highlights that I will read for the group. And then if there are any questions in regards to, the director's reports, by all means, feel free to ask. But just a couple of bullet points for each one. In transportation, that's Sheena. She, as you guys are aware, implemented her bus badge system. And just a kind of an anecdote, it did help us just recently locate a student who boarded the wrong bus, just improving safety and efficiency. We were able to get a hold of the student very quickly because we knew where they were if they were on the wrong bus. Sheena successfully managed the first snowstorm at the new bus garage, saved time and fuel with prearranged warm buses. And one bus driver position remains open with the hopes to fill it soon. Special education, that's Justin. And we've increased the special education child count to 301 students. And that's primarily including our 4-year-old students who have joined us, as you guys know. High school staff participated in transition planning training. Middle school staff piloted an executive functioning program intended IEP-related professional development. And Justin has done a nice job improving school psychology services for the school district by transitioning from contracted services to a dedicated district employee. Shelley with curriculum assessment and instruction. She submitted the fiscal year 25 title grant performance report and held regular meetings with nurses, multilingual teachers, GT staff, and coaches. She's drafted a PBI's handbook to guide school and district teams on processes and procedures. She began a budget development with special groups and building administrators to ensure comprehensive planning. Stephanie in technology has worked on E-rate funding applications to improve network and connectivity, preparing for district-wide cybersecurity training to enhance protection against phishing and online threats, committed to creating a secure and modern technology environment for teaching, learning, and operations. Jim Palmer has a twofer with his adult education and athletics. He's completed the 3rd high-set student for the year, which is great, and preparing for 2nd semester with new online and workplace training offerings. Winter athletics season has started with strong participation in boys basketball, competitive cheering, and other sports. Monthly coaching roundtables held to address program challenges. And we've welcomed new cheering coach Shelby Wood and planned discussions on feeder programs for next month, which is great. And last but not least, Director of Operations and Food Nutrition, Sean Knox. Facilities team successfully managed the first snowstorm and maintained clean buildings and conducted HVAC system reviews and safety committee meetings. This is an impressive aspect of things here. Just to note, prior to Thanksgiving, the school district hosted a successful Thanksgiving meal serving 730 students and 90 staff members, which is impressive. So thank you to Sean and his team in putting that all together. And he's adjusted some fruit offerings on salad bars to include local produce and increase breakfast participation at one school. And so those are director's reports for this meeting. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, or we can ask any of the directors to answer questions that you may have.
All right, no questions. If they come to you afterward, you know where to find us.
That's right.
All right, and 5.5 with our Aspen with our student rep report.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, oh my gosh. Okay, so for sports, winter sports have recently begun, so there aren't many updates on the moment at the moment on those, but the seasons have been successful so far, and all the fall sports awards have been given to athletes from that season. I believe a few of the teams, like cross country and golf, plan to make an appearance at one of our meetings to discuss their awards further. The drama club is working on their performance of Six the Musical, which will have shows on January 16th, 17th, and 18th. And they've also announced that the show for the one act competition in the spring will be a performance of Radium Girls. Oak Hill Legislative Assembly is collecting toys and gifts to be donated to families in need this Saturday, December 13th, in the Mixers parking lot. We've also been collecting non-perishable food items within classrooms in all of the district schools, which are going to be picked up on Friday. Additionally, OHLA will be at Gowel Shop and Save in Litchfield on the 13th as well in the morning and the afternoon, asking shoppers to purchase and donate certain non-perishable food items to add to what we can donate to the community. We've also begun preparing for Winter Carnival in the high school, which will be in February, and the theme chosen for this year is fairy tales. Many students in Future Business Leaders of America recently participated in an entrepreneurship day at Thomas College that was hosted by the Maine State FBLA board in conjunction with Thomas College's collegiate chapter. At this event, students attended workshops relating to topics like networking and business strategies. They took tours of Thomas's campus and heard from a keynote speaker active in the world of entrepreneurship. FBLA has also been working hard to prepare for our annual Breakfast with Santa fundraiser that will be also this Saturday, the 13th. And at Breakfast with Santa, guests pay a small admission fee and then are able to have breakfast cooked by FBLA students. They can take pictures with Santa. There's like arts and crafts for the kids that is like helped out by FBLA members, and all profits from that event go to the Maine FBLA State Service Project, which is the Maine Alzheimer's Association. Academic Decathlon hosted a bingo night with the help of boosters last month. It went very well. We sold food, we had mini games, and then we played a few big rounds of bingo for some pretty cool prizes. Almost everything for this event was donated by boosters, academic decathlon students, or the community. So the event had little to no cost to the team. And we made just under $2,000 from bingo night. And all of that money went towards paying back boosters for the money they lent us to attend our national competition in Iowa last year. This week, the team is also taking tests for our regional competition, which we tend to do very well in. At the state competition in February, the top two teams will go to nationals in California. And because there are only two teams competing, including Oak Hill, we have a spot secured. As for fundraising for nationals this year, the team attended the craft fair and sold some products at the craft fair at Oak Hill Middle School this weekend and is currently working on planning a movie night. We're also still selling those glass cups with the vinyl decorations. We have some different options now. And I know that our advisor, Mr. Anderson, is here tonight. I don't know if he planned to talk on those, but I know that at some point we were going to try to do a little bit like more selling, even at like a school board meeting. And that's all that I have.
All right. Thank you, Aspen. Anything for Aspen? Anybody?
I have a question. Is there a list of non-perishable foods that you're looking for? Because if you share it with the school board, we could buy stuff and drop it off.
Yeah, I know that basically every single classroom has a list. I could probably send a screenshot of it to Mr. Alberti and he could, and yeah, and then Gowls, I think, is from like 9 to 2, I believe. It's like morning and afternoon if anybody's like in the area and wanted to stop in for that as well. And that's this Saturday, the 13th.
Lots happening on the 13th.
All right, thank you. Old business 6.1, Libby Tozier discussion.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We were to talk about this at our last school board meeting, but we decided to table it as it was pretty late in the evening by the time we got to it. So I have included a fair amount of information in your packet in regards to some information that you were looking for. Just again, to take a look at what we might be doing to plan for the future. I'm going to go through kind of the overview page that I provided. It starts off with basically, it starts off with the addition at Oak Hill Middle School of 8 classrooms only. And then it proceeds from there to some options in regards to portable classrooms, and then just the capital 5-year improvement plan for Libby Tozier specifically. And so by all means, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my best to walk you through all of this. And, you know, if you have any questions, by any means, please stop me and, you know, ask away. And if I don't have the answer for you, I'm happy to find out. That's not an issue whatsoever. The nice thing is the Facilities and Finance Committee was kind enough to let me do a dry run, especially around the portable classroom option, just because sorry, just one of my earbuds just died. Just heard it anyway. So with that being said, I just want to make sure that you guys, can you still hear me okay? Yeah, okay, great. All right, good. So I'll just take it from there. And again, please stop me if you have any questions for me. So I'm going to start, Robbie had talked a little bit about at one of our board meetings, just the middle school having the ability to, you know, have a construction project, kind of take place just as that's what it was designed for as far as add-on was concerned. And so I think I had mentioned this, I did mention it at the last Finance and Facilities Subcommittee meeting, just that I had the opportunity of working or getting a name from Harriman and Associates. Just I know that we've worked with them on a couple of different things, but I asked them, like, when they go out to do estimates, who do they use for construction estimators? And so they gave me the name of PCM Construction, and was able to kind of have a back and forth with a representative there. And essentially, they gave me some details around, a very rough order of magnitude of work for Oak Hill Middle School if it was just to include 8 classrooms. And so you can see, that addition costs as of right now are about $650 to $700 square foot. And that does not include, that's just like the construction cost, it does not include soft costs, which include permits, design fees, furniture, etc. And what I was explained to me is that it's like 25%. If you add 25% to your construction cost, then that's roughly what your soft costs would be. And so just looking at like your DOE classroom sizes, if we're looking at 8 classrooms, the general classroom size that we'd be looking for is about 800 square feet, as that supports about 24 students, which is, at some grade levels we're close to or at that number of students. And essentially, I just did some real basic calculations in regards to that, and you can see that breakdown in the calculation section. Basically, what it comes down to is, in a very, very rough order of magnitude, we'd be looking at somewhere of the neighborhood of $5.6 million to build 8 classrooms only. Something that both Harriman and PCM explained to me is that there are a lot of other considerations that you have to think about. And we did kick around some of these, I think, even at the Finance and Facilities meeting, not today, but the last time we met. Just about like, systems and program spaces. I think specifically we talked a little bit about, like bus and parent drop off, pickup, parking lots, like a second exit in particular. And then, looking at all of that, what else might we need as far as a physical plant is concerned? Are we looking, obviously we're going to need fire suppression systems. We may need to do something more with the boiler if we're heating more, just something along those lines. So, that's, again, extremely rough, but it gives us an opportunity to know what that cost might be, at least in the construction aspect of things, and some soft costs. I'll pause there. Are there any questions about the construction estimate? Okay, So hearing none, what I'll do is I'm going to move into the portable classroom aspect of things. And just so you know, guys, this is a little bit more nuanced. To me, not as straightforward, but ultimately with, I'll do my best to explain it, but ultimately with a portable classroom option, this would be something that we would work with the state on as a lease purchase option. And there's, an application that you have to submit, and you go through an approval process, and essentially the state will reimburse us $10 per square foot for 5 years. And so working with Sean, he was kind enough to reach out to Schiavi Homes in Oxford, who has done a number of these buildings. They currently did a setup in Cumberland as they prepare to do a new building construction project. They need to temporarily house students in portable classrooms. So the Schiavi was the name that they used. So, we got a quote in regards to that. I did include that in the packet. And there's a couple of different things that you guys need to know about that, which I will just review briefly. But essentially, we looked at what would it cost just for 6 classrooms. We didn't do the full 8. I did do a little bit of math, and actually Scott was helpful during our finance and facilities meeting to kind of give us a rough idea of what that number would be. But essentially, if we look at it, what they've quoted us at are 3 units. And these are, each unit has 2 classrooms in it. They're 28 by 68. They are basically portable classrooms. There's not any water in them, nor are there any bathrooms. They're just pretty standard options. And there's 2 options with this quote. The first is a 60-month lease for the 3 units. And that's at $9,425 a month. And that's with $156,375 due with a signed agreement for delivery, setup, installation, skirting, and tie downs. There's also another option in that. So that's the lease option, the 60 months over, the 3 units over the 60 months. There is a purchase price for the 3 units, and that's at $788,250. Again, that includes delivery, setup, installation, skirting, and tie downs. And then, like I said, Scott was helpful just to, essentially if we were to purchase them, and we got another unit, it would be, instead of 3 units, it'd be 4. So 8 classrooms, it'd be close to $1 million to purchase them outright. And then something to really consider with this, just like with the construction piece, there are these other costs that we need to take a look at. And I don't have numbers for those as of right now, but just like with any, contract, there are services that are provided by Schiavi, and then there's also our responsibility. So for instance, our responsibility would be things like the permitting, the site work, electrical connection data, fire alarms, sprinklers, propane tanks, connection to HVAC units. Customer will also supply and install ADA ramp in steps and decks. And, I don't have a number for what that would cost us, but it's important to know that, one of the pieces that gives me a bit of pause is the sprinklers. And we discussed this again in the subcommittee meeting, just because Schiavi will rough those in, but then we need to hire somebody to come in and install them. And, where, how that works, obviously I'm not somebody who installs sprinklers for a living. I'm not 100% sure. So just there'd be a fair amount of consideration that needs to be taken place there. I'll be quiet. And actually, one more thing before I be quiet. I want you guys to know that the units are roughly about 1,900 square feet. And so that would be about $19,000 that the state would reimburse, or not reimburse, but would help us with, as far as money is concerned. So just to know that, and that's each year, it'd be about $19,000 a year that they would help with. So that's for those 5 years. Any questions about the modulars, guys? Yeah, go for it, Robbie. I see your hand.
Marco, what would be the life expectancy of those modulars? Did they say?
They didn't, but I can definitely ask Robbie. It's a good question.
Okay.
And is it 19,000 per? Are they each 1,900 square feet?
They are
Okay.
each 19. Yeah, they're each 1,900 square feet.
Okay.
The question that you're asking me though, are you asking me, is it $19,000 per unit?
Yeah. Or is that the total reimbursement for?
I would assume it's on the total square footage. So like it probably 19,000 per unit is what I'm thinking. So it would be higher than that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, because what you say, Marco, it was $10 a square foot.
That's correct, sir.
So it would be one building, 1,900 square feet times 4, whatever that number is, times $10 a square foot.
So 76,000 is what I've got, if that's correct.
Right.
Just something else to,
one more quick question. The 788 figure you gave to buy out, is that to buy all or just one?
That's to buy the 3 units. I don't have the 4th one on there. Like I said, just given, I did, like, again, I apologize for not knowing specifically, but like I took that 788, 250, divided it by 3 to see maybe what it would cost for one more. And it's $262,250. So you add that together with the 788, and it's like $1,050,500 is what I came up with.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Christy.
I am just wondering about how the use of portable classrooms aligns with our school safety plans. Particularly thinking about that. Well, seriously, like thinking about young people having to go from their classroom to the bathroom. We can't have doors unlocked. Like it's different than what it was back when we used to use portables. So I just wonder about that, especially if you were placing them at the high school. Like how would that work?
It's a great question, Christy. What's interesting, Christy, is in the documents that I provided, in the installation guidelines for these portable classrooms from the state, they have extremely specific requirements in regards to these buildings. So there's a section in here on security, and they have to be in close, like the whole thing just goes down through the whole thing. But your question's a good one, because just so happens that it just so happens that there is somebody, well, how do I put this? There's somebody that I know that works in Cumberland who, is aware of this situation of the students going in and out. Now, these are much younger students. These are like little guys, 2nd graders. And that's, their concern is like, they're in the parking lot, but still, a student walking from the parking lot to the building, going to see the nurse, use the bathroom, not the bathroom, because I think they do have toilets in them, but going to see the nurse or being dismissed or specials or UAs, that's their concern. That's little guys. But there are like things like portables, should be unobstructed, and you should be able to see all the way around them, which it's like, I don't know how that's possible. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's like out in a parking lot or out in a field. And I mean, there's lots of space at the high school, but we just have to be mindful of it. I mean, I think it does. And maybe Sean, if you don't mind, I know, you spoke about some that you worked with in, I think it was in Fairfield, and I apologize if I get that wrong, if it's Pittston or Fairfield.
Yeah. What in Pittsfield, when I was in Pittsfield, we had we had four units. All of 4th grade was in 2 units. And like we had talked about way back, it's similar to what we talked about is, the safety aspect of it is obviously a concern. It's wintertime right now. It's cold. The kids are out. They have to go to the nurse. The nurse is not in the portable. I had sewer lines freeze, water lines freeze just in the 4.5 years I was there, because they're all kind of tied together over the years, if you will. It wasn't built when the school was built. And also just the general safety aspect of it, of students walking outside, being outside by themselves. Basically, most schools have like the AI phone on the door that they walk in from the portable, just like so the secretary has to be at the secretary's desk all the time, and able to let that student in a real time. They can't be standing outside. And the same thing with getting into the portable. We can't leave, we don't leave the portables unlocked, so they have to have a way to get in the portable. Those safety things are really the top of the pile. There's some other things too, but those are the big ones. Yep.
Yeah, I think what you're hearing, Christy, is the same question that we have. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I think, there's some benefit, I think there's some positive sides to this, but it's also, there's a lot of question marks in regards to like, yeah, I guess safety is probably one that comes to mind just because you said it. So I appreciate you bringing it up.
Robbie's got his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Robbie, go for it.
Thanks,
Marco,
Diane.
on the finance side of it, I'm gonna term the add-on to the middle school as a hard building. Would we be able to get the same financing package, like a bond for the portables, than we would with that construction piece through the state?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Sam, do you know through the bond bank, is there any special requirements? Does it have to be a construction project or?
I can look into that. But I think we have obviously some more flexibility if we're pursuing a bond through the Maine Municipal Bond Bank and their semi-annual application. So, we can look into that and see if there are any restraints to that bond offering. But I would think just a gut response, if that's what you're looking for, is we'd probably be eligible.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And then, Diane, go for, I'm sorry, that's your job, Nicole.
It's okay.
I was just looking up installing fire sprinklers, and it says $2 to $7 per square foot, depending on whether it's a new installation or a retrofit. So depending on the type of system.
Yeah. Yeah. And just what we did talk about again in the finance and facilities meeting was just that it's they rough it in, for us at Skiavi, but then we're responsible for doing that, along with, electricity and technology and communications, like all that stuff is required in it. So, I mean, go ahead, Diane, please.
I have had much experience too, having portables when I was at Sabatis for a long time, and safety is a big concern because kids leave and they don't have any escorts to go to the bathroom, or they have to go to the nurse, or they have to go to the office. It was very difficult keeping track of where kids were.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Diane. How many do you remember how many you had there at the time?
Robbie, I think we had 4 at one point.
Yeah, you're muted, Robbie, just so you know there, bud.
Yeah, we had 4 in the very front parking lot where the parking lot is now.
Yep.
Yeah, they were right there.
Yeah.
And it was tough.
Yeah, and we got rid of those when we built the middle school, and we ended up just about giving them away.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. There was something else. The other consideration, which we have not talked about, is just programming. I mean, that's and it's not something that I think that could be figured out, but I think that we would have to really think about, if we were going to move 7th and 8th grade to the high school, what that programming looks like, how that works as far as the flow of the building and people accessing UAs and space and so on and so forth. So just another consideration there, just because we would want to make sure that that was as seamless as possible. And then just last piece, guys, and you're familiar with this, but basically the Libby Tozier capital improvement and the district capital improvement plans. I just totaled up like, and again, we haven't gone through that necessarily to say like, you know what, this is a must. Do you know what I mean? As far as like the capital improvement plan is concerned, I mean, Sean's done a nice job in like really taking a look at what we had and then putting something new together. And I appreciate that, but if we were to just look at like over the next 5 years, that's like the total of Libby Tozier's like upgrades. It's like if we did everything in one shot, it was what just over $3 million. It was $3,091,200. Again, could we look at that and prioritize some things or say, you know what, like we're going to have to put this off or something along those lines to a certain extent. Obviously we've done that in the past. We're trying not to do that now. It's something to take into consideration. So, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last time because our meeting ran late. So I wanted to bring that forward to you guys now, just so that everybody had the same information. Obviously it's not something that has to be decided today or, next time we meet, but we need to continue to talk about it so that we can narrow down our focus as to what we're going to do moving forward. Just because I think it's going to be important for us to budget appropriately and, know that, we have a specific direction we're following in. We're going in. There we go. Not following. We're going in a direction.
Excuse me. All right. Well, thank you, Marco. Anybody have any additional comments, feedback, questions? All righty. Now that brings us to our new business, CDARS investment discussion, 7.1.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. And I'm going to have Sam speak to this. This is something that we talked about at not this most recent Finance and Facilities Committee meeting, but the one prior to. So she has some information to share with you guys in regards to investment opportunities and realizing some gains from those investments. So Sam?
Sure. Thanks, Marco. So this conversation came up at Finance and Facilities actually last year as well, but with everything that occurred and happened, over a very, very busy summer, it sort of was tabled until this year. So wanting to bring that forward again, when it was discussed at Finance and Facilities, the team really felt strongly that it should come to the board for discussion as well. So that's where we're landing it, is with you guys to take a look at this opportunity. So this was born out of, just hearing continued feedback from the board about looking for creative ways to lessen, if you will, the tax burden for taxpayers in the district. And one of those ways is to look for alternative sources of revenue. So, we investigated with our banking partner, Androscoggin Bank, the opportunity to look at some of our fund balance and to designate some of that, well, not designate it, but to take some of that fund balance that is not actively being drawn on month to month and to put it into an investment to try to realize some, interest proceeds for the district on behalf of the district. So one thing I did just want to note, we upgraded last year, at the middle of last year, I think it was, to a more secure bank account system and some options within our bank account that allow us to have an active role in deferring and avoiding fraud. And because we upgraded to that more secure banking account model, we've actually seen a higher interest yield on our regular bank account. So just wanted to know that we are bringing in more interest than last year, just in our regular account based on that change alone. But continuing to seek alternatives, we do have a fund balance. Our last audited fund balance was around $1.3 million, which is under the main statute of 9% from the previous fiscal year's budget, but certainly healthier than it has been in the district's history. So what we would promote doing or advocate for doing is to take some of those funds and to put them into short-term investments or the CDARs and to realize a decent amount of interest. So based on the conversation that we had last year, we did budget for this to see additional interest in the miscellaneous revenue category. But the two options that we discussed, which it's in flux. We could present lots of different options where to either have 4 staggered $250,000 investments that rolled over every 3 months and then 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months, which would yield approximately $22,000 in additional interest for the district over the course of a 12-month period, or to have 2 $500,000 chunks staggered in a 3-month and then 6-month CD, if you will, that would yield, a little bit more than half of that, 13,000 approximately. So it was an investigation into something else that we could do to try to offset the tax burden. And so just looking for some conversation and some feedback from the board about moving forward with this.
Sam, do you anticipate the need to not go with the higher yield interest due to concerns about not having enough cash on hand available?
Well, I mean, it's the same amount of cash tied up, just in different timeframes and in different ways. So I actually prefer the first model, which has a higher yield, because you have a little bit of that money coming due every 3 months, right? So every 3 months, you have the option to either roll it back in and get some more, interest by keeping it in a short-term investment, or to have it available and made free so that you can access it for other things. So you could choose every 3-month period to say, we need those monies. We're not going to put them back into a short-term investment.
Thanks.
Sam, I guess what you're looking for is guidance now.
Yep. Is the board in support of this so that we can have some, more revenues coming in from our current fund balance that we have available to put into an investment like this?
And that 22,000, Sam, that would go back into our fund balance.
It would go into miscellaneous revenue,
right?
And then, and all revenue compared to all expenditures at the end of the year, once it's audited, if revenue exceeds expenditures, then that rolls into fund balance.
Right. So could we target that increase in revenue to go back to the taxpayers? Like add it to our fund balance we already give back?
So in essence, that's what you're doing, because what you would do if you
we wouldn't have to raise that money.
Yeah, if you wanted to continue with this, then what you would do is raise your anticipated miscellaneous revenue line in future budget years to account for this anticipated interest revenue. And then that would offset the ask of the taxpayers. So you'd be asking for whatever that budgeted amount is. Let's say we called it $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
If you anticipated that in revenue, then you would increase that revenue line in the budget, which then decreases your additional local ask by that same amount.
Yeah. Okay.
Proportional by town. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. I just want to make sure everybody understood it.
Sure.
I'll go ahead and speak up. I do like the 6 month at 4%.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
Sorry,
I
Sam.
agree. It's a good place to start.
I apologize, Diane. You go right ahead.
I agree. It's a good place to start.
Yeah, thanks, Diane, for the comment. I just sorry, Sam. The 6 months at 4%. That was the $500,000. Is that correct?
I think she's looking at the first example. So I would have had this as a handout. So I did email it out to you guys as the board so that, no worries. So that you would have it digitally to look at while we're talking about it together. The finance and facilities have seen this model that was brought forward as well. But it's the first example has the 250 for 6 months at 4%, I think is what the reference was.
Thank you very much.
Sam?
Yep. And then Teresa had her hand up too. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing hands. But anyway, real quickly, for transparency to the public, could you just explain how the fund balance is money that we already have and we can't return it at this moment because of the timeline with the budget? And so it would be wise to invest the money now because it's not something that we can return. So rather than just having it sit there, why it makes sense for that to be invested.
Yeah.
So if you could kind of explain that. And then I do also want to point out to people that with the interest that we're gaining, I think the board is sort of all in favor of taking the interest earned and putting it back to reduce the future budgets to help offset the cost of taxes. It's not something we're doing just to increase spending.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So to your first question, Scott, I'm happy to elaborate, but I think you actually explained it very well. Like in your request for me to explain it, I think you articulated it perfectly. Just to give a little bit more detail, our opportunity to return fund balance to the taxpayer happens once a year during the budget cycle, right? So as we are preparing the budget, we need to make a determination as an administrative team what we feel comfortable pledging to that next fiscal year's budget in that fund balance line. And then once that decision is made, and once you as a board take the budget as a package and approve it, and that's what moves forward to the voters, that's what we've sort of like committed in that fiscal year. And it's based on where we think we are going to finish in the current fiscal year with our expenditures to revenue, based on what we carried into that fiscal year with fund balance. And then also obviously reflecting on statute and any other legal obligations, like we can't exceed 9% of the previous fiscal year, which again, we're under that for sure. But I mean, that's our opportunity, right? Is to lessen the tax burden for the upcoming budget cycle in that budget planning process by reflecting on what is an appropriate and fiscally responsible amount to pledge in that next budget year, which similar to the interest, which is going to hit on the miscellaneous revenue line, it's going to hit in the fund balance line, and then whatever other revenue streams we can contribute to meeting the expenditures for this upcoming year's budget is what we don't have to ask the taxpayers for in that additional local. So if that gives a little bit more detail to what I think you were asking me to explain, just give me a thumbs up if you're like, that does it, or if you're looking for something different.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And I apologize. What was the second thing that you asked?
Oh, I just wanted to just make it clear that I think, and I'm speaking for everybody, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we need to make sure that everybody understands that the interest earned on the investment is going to be returned back in the form of reducing the budget. And this isn't going to be some sort of excuse to add additional things into the budget that are unnecessary. Like, oh, well, we earned, X amount of dollars in interest this year, therefore we can fund X, Y, and Z. That's not the intention of what we're doing here.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. What I try to do when we think of our budget is to think of the two buckets, right? Revenue and expenditures. They're two separate things, but they have to match. We have to make them match so that way we have what we need to meet the expenditures in the budget. So what we're doing here isn't to try to gain interest so that way we can raise the revenue bucket, which gives us extra money to spend. What we're trying to do is be responsive to what what you all, the board members who represent your communities and your towns respectively, have continued to say is that these are tough times and that we need to try to be as creative and as fiscally responsible as we can within the constraints that we have to assist the taxpayers, right? Because we know that taxpayers want to support schools. They want to support what's happening with our amazing students, our amazing staff, and the teaching and learning that's happening, the experiences they're able to have in our schools. But we also know, like, there are the realities of the grocery bills and everything else that we continue to talk about. So this is not a golden ticket, if you will, that says like, hey, like, here's more money that we can now spend. Nope, here's more money that goes into the pot, which will be our revenue bucket. And every bit of that revenue that is not taxpayer dollars lessens the taxpayer ask. And then over here are the expenditures that your administrative team and your school staff are right now working hard to come up with a fiscally responsible budget that represents the needs of the students and the needs of the district, and not saying this is over here, so now add more over here. I think that's exactly correct. That's my philosophy and opinion. So I appreciate you drawing that out of the conversation.
Sure, thank you.
I don't know how to raise my hand, but I'll just jump in. I think anything that we can do to help offset the cost to the taxpayer without putting us at risk in case of emergency is a good idea. So however, whatever number that is, if that's the 6 month at 4%, or more or less, that's where I'm at.
And I think, Teresa, you had a question too, right?
Yes, I don't care for the 3 months at 2.75. I would prefer to go in with 500 at 6 months. And that's just my personal opinion. I know the staggering method, I've used that personally. So you could have more access to the money more quickly in case something comes up. But just that 4% is very appealing.
Just taking down some notes here.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, so I guess for the facilities in finance committee, is the board set with us making a decision and coming back with how we're going to do it to the board? Sam, is that what you're looking for?
I mean, it sounds like, hearing the conversation, Robbie, that there is general support. So then, knowing that there's general support, I would work with both our banking partner and also our legal counsel to prepare a motion to bring forward that would have a vote of the board. But again, knowing that we want to be fiscally responsible, I didn't want to expend any lawyer dollars or, any consultation fees or anything like that before I had a general sense of, before we as a, district had a general sense of whether or not this was something that you would look into or, be in support of.
All right. Great. Good discussion, everybody. You're all set then, Sam, to move forward?
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I had to open up my different documents. So we're going to get back to I think we're at 7.3 now, our addition for the field trip. Do you have?
No, we're at, 7.2, initial fiscal year 27 budget discussion.
Thank you, Marco.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to that item.
All right. So you guys should have received a presentation in the board packet just in regards to a budget preparation for the next fiscal year. This is, just our initial board discussion. Sam, thanks for putting that up there. Do appreciate it. We have some, basically some brief information to share with you guys. I know that Nicole had asked, if you guys were looking for anything in particular as far as specific numbers, so on and so forth, to just let me know. And I'll continue to keep that invitation out there to you guys, just because it's extremely important. If there's information that you need to help you make a decision moving forward in regards to our budget, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out or give us some ideas. Happy to do what we can to support that. But essentially, the first slide after the title page here just has 3 discussion points. As you can see, there are anticipated timeline, our anticipated budget drivers, and then any board goals that we have, which we will talk about at the end here. So just first section is just the anticipated timeline. We have a board budget timeline that you guys can see here. We were to start this discussion in November, but our last meeting went long. So we've just moved it to this December 10th meeting. Just so that you guys know, Sam has been out and about working with our principals and directors in our collective staffs, basically just getting the word out about the budget for this year and the process that takes place to develop that budget. And so people are hard at work in putting that together. So just want to let you guys know that we're underway in that area of things. But essentially, as we move forward, we're going to be looking to get you guys proposed budget, in January, towards the end of the month. And then you can see February and March will, continue to kind of, work that between, really the board and the A team, to best meet our goals. We'll be looking for board approval of our budget in April, and then we have our public hearing and referendum vote in May and June, respectively. It's pretty much mirrors the timeline from last year. It's just, it's a helpful process and one that I feel like has been effective in, moving things forward. So just to give you an idea of where we're at.
Mark,
then,
can I jump in?
Of course you can. You can jump in anytime you want. Go right ahead.
Just a slight adjustment to what you said.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Usually it's really like the full month of January and into February that we're putting that budget together. So I believe our target date to get it into the hands of the board, just so that the board knows, is right around February break, like right maybe before or the tail end of February break, but within time, so that you have a time to review and digest before our first board meeting on it. So
yeah, thanks for the clarification, Sam.
Sure.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So then just moving on, just some of our budget drivers. You guys are familiar with these. We have, obviously contractual employee increases in salaries and benefits. We've started working on some of our anticipated health insurance increases. Just we get updates regularly in regards to our usage, and it's high, that's for sure. We'll see where it ends up this year in regards to the health insurance. Is there anything in particular, Sam, that you wanted to highlight besides those two pieces?
Yeah, just noting relative to the health insurance discussion, we have seen historic increases the last 2 years in health insurance. Part of that related to deferred medical treatments from COVID that we're still catching up to, but also part just like the industry in itself is going up pretty substantially. So when we, as a school district, have really high medical loss ratio on our insurance, higher than it was last year, if you can believe it, right? That doesn't bode well for us when we think about how the band is going to look and where on that band in the trust that will fall. So I know that the board has, requested and like had some preliminary conversation about, can we look at other health insurance providers? But I do just want you to know, like, our district, because of our medical loss ratio, is a district that benefits greatly from being a part of the trust, because we are benefiting from other healthier districts pulling our insurance premiums down relative to our loss ratio. So if we went to private market and went for insurance, we would definitely see higher rates out there alone.
Appreciate that, Sam. Thank you for the information. Just other anticipated increases. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about building maintenance, and just to, keeping that in mind, we've deferred maintenance over the years, looking to, start building that back up. Potentially student device refresh and replacement. Stephanie presented to the Finance and Facilities Committee this afternoon, just in regards to some plans that she has in regards to that replacement and refresh, trying to keep it as neutral as possible, but just want to make you guys aware of that. And then just the main Paid Family Medical Leave Act, and just knowing that there are contributions that we need to make upon, that we need to make on our behalf of our employees to that PFML. And then it comes to your goals, gang. And so this is the RSU4 board goals section. And we do have a slide right after this that basically is blank. And the reason it's blank is so that we can fill it in with your thoughts in regards to goals that you have for this school year or this next school year budget. So happy to open it up. Feel free to give us your thoughts in regards to what you would like to see, and we'll summarize that for you and make sure that you have that information.
Who wants to go first?
No, everybody at once.
I mean, I know that I'm not the only one thinking this, and I know that this is, probably not surprising, but, flat fund or less than. I would not like to see an increase. I would like to see what we can do, digging through all of our expenses and making sure that they are essential, absolutely necessary, and not nice to have. With, obviously, not sacrificing anything for our students as much as, any real quality programming or anything like that.
Seconded.
I concur as well.
I concur also.
Thank you, Teresa.
I agree.
Is that Diane?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
I saw your hand. I was trying to call you, but there's
Yeah.
only little boxes now, so I don't have everybody's view in my view.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I would agree. And since we've consolidated schools now, I'm sure a lot of supplies were consolidated. So this is a good opportunity for teachers to see what is available in the district. Because when I went into the middle school to clean a closet, there were some supplies in there that hadn't been used in a classroom that could definitely have been used in the lower grades. There were like magnetic boards. So we really need to know, what does our district have that teachers can use without having to make their own or buy more supplies? It's out there. We just need to ask.
Do we have a supply inventory for the district?
Just going to ask that question.
We used to have to fill one out.
So like a supply inventory that can be accessed and folks can request stuff and not just go buying.
Wouldn't let me unmute while I was sharing. Weird. So, Marco, do you want to speak to what we're doing to address that this year, or?
No, go right. I mean, essentially, kind of like what Diane had just said. Appreciate your, volunteering to do some of that work, Diane. So thank you for that. But essentially, looking at what our resources are, right? Like, absolutely, like what you said. We've just combined some buildings. We have things that are available to us in our supply closets, and it's like, so if if we've got these things, there's no need to do some. There's no need to be redundant with those. Just thinking in particular, and Sam, maybe this is where you're going with it, but at the middle school, Michaela has put together a really nice page, basically of the it's a supply list that we have, or that they have at the middle school, and that's basically like, if you need something, you need to let us know it, and we don't need to order it anymore, because we have whatever it might be, notebooks or magnetic boards, as you said, Diane. So, really being conscious about using what we have and not ordering more for surplus purposes. And then Sam, if there was something specific beyond that.
Yeah, just a couple of points. You're right, Diane. Sabatis had a very healthy supply closet. And at the closure of that building, myself and Amy Chase spent a fair amount of time inventorying what was in there and soliciting from the building administrators and, even teaching staff, like, out of these things that we have, like, what do you need? So we reached out to administrative assistants. We basically asked everybody, out of the things that are in this closet, what can we bring to you? So that way you don't have to order new things. And then I personally packed a fair amount of that up in my vehicle and delivered it around to the schools. So we did, put those things back into circulation and, again, trying to be responsive to the request to use what we have and not, just purchase new. I think our teachers have benefited from, the support that the board has had for their budget requests in the past and being able to kind of rest assured that what they ask for, they tend to get, so that you're supporting what they're doing in their classroom. But noting that we can do that in a different way, and we can kind of think back to what has worked in the past, and can we go back to some practices that maybe do realize a fiscal benefit, like bulk ordering, that has been done in the district in the past. We've moved away from it, and for quite a few years we haven't done that. But can we do that now to go out and get a district-wide pricing on a generic school supply order that most of our folks need, right? But we're not paying higher prices by teacher A ordering exactly what they want on their own in an Amazon cart or through, school specialty, and then teacher B doing the same thing. So that's something that we are actively working on this year to say, that list that Michaela and her staff were kind enough to generate and then have circulated out to the administrative team. How can we use that to A, take stock of what we currently have, and then B, think about what do we need if that's exhausted in the next year. And then with those needs put together as a district-wide cart, if you will, can we then shop that out to different vendors and get good pricing on bulk pricing? So that's the plan. When you make change, everybody's a little bit worried about change and how the details of that change are going to come to fruition. So I'm just trying to assure folks that we have thoughts on, with the consolidation, space is at a premium. So not every school has the capacity to have a storage closet or a supply closet. So just working within our other spaces that we have, like a little bit of storage space at central office, to centralize that supply closet and then be able to distribute out from this as like the hub. So just really trying to be creative to realize some savings and kind of go back to some practices that might allow us to, realize those savings, but still provide the supplies that staff are requesting.
I saw Diane first and then Robbie.
What I just wanted to say is teachers also need to know that your coaches, like math coaches, they have supplies in their room that they can let you borrow or use. So you don't need to buy them for your classroom. There were some things that I needed that I just went to Deb Witham and borrowed them in her classroom from her room, and then I returned them. So I didn't have to house them anywhere. They were already there. So I think maybe they need to know more of that, more what's out there that they can offer them as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Robbie.
Okay, just Sam, do we have a number yet for our obligated pay increases and insurance costs?
So insurance will come out, the band amount will come out in February, late February.
Okay.
And then usually our individual amount will come out in April.
So
maybe it's a little bit before that.
And as far as our obligated contractual pay increases that we have, not discounting what we're negotiating right now, but
right.
do we have a number of that?
No, I can get that for you if you want. It'll only be for our contracts that are in place for next year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think a 0 budget increase is a great goal, but in order to do that, what was our increase last year just in the insurance number? 500,000?
Close to.
Close to 500,000.
Mhm.
So that's already 500,000 you got to take from someplace else to get to a zero budget. That's not counting our contractual pay increases that we have to have for contracts that we've already ratified.
Mhm.
So you're talking close to $1 million, I would think, or at least 750,000 just to get to a zero budget. We would have to take out of this year's budget if you want zero. Am I right, Sam?
I think you're in the ballpark, Robbie. Yep.
Right. So I think it's a great goal, but in order to say that you want to do that and then not say you don't want to lose anything that's important, or that we feel that it's important, isn't very realistic. To it's not in line with what we've done or what we have to do. So if that's the goal of the board for a zero increase, know that we're going to lose close to 750 to $1 million right off the bat without even building the budget at all.
All right, thanks, Robbie. Teresa, you're next. I think you guys are in order. Bye.
For the homework that you had given us, one piece of information I'd like to have is similar to last year that Mel gave us, the enrollment in high school courses, just to ensure that we're maximizing our teachers and that there's not favoritism towards, one type of group, like, AP kids are in all the small classes and, the other classes are so much bigger, just to see if there's any room in there for budgeting. And then LRTC, I know our enrollment is very high, kind of like to take a look at that. And, we hear from the community about class size. So I guess would still like to see elementary and middle to show, that our classes aren't small there.
Yeah, I'm happy to get that information for the board, Teresa. Thank you for that.
I think I'm
Chris-
next.
Yes.
So back to the original question, I agree in terms of trying to build a budget that is based on actual needs, not wants or hopes. So as we think about cost centers and we think about what needs to be there in order to function as a school system that provides the best we can for public education for students K-12, pre-K-12. So I don't feel comfortable saying zero because there may be some nuances that we can't control, but I would like to see it as lean as possible, but also guaranteeing that it's needs-based, not extra stuff.
Right, essentials. Anybody else? Any other requests?
Yeah.
Oh,
Could I add, with the student enrollment, can we get enrollment for all the stipend position extracurricular activities, including sports and all the after school groups and such? And I'd also like to see enrollment numbers for adult education.
No problem. I'll get that information. It works.
Scott, with the stipend activity, I think last year we provided like participation numbers. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, and I guess what would be really nice to see is the participation number, and then also the cost of the position for the stipend position that's overseeing that group.
I would agree.
Or if we don't feel comfortable with the actual stipend because it's connected to somebody's payroll, could we just see cost per pupil? So figuring out like what the stipend is paid and how much it costs per participant.
But then all you have to do is take the number of participants and the number and add them together to get the total. I mean, it's public information.
It is public information, you're right. But I think what I would like to see is the discrepancy, right? So like for some activities, you got 5 kids, the stipend is $5,000. I don't think that actually happens. But then you have others where there's 35 kids and the stipend's only $500. So knowing what we're paying per student, I think is important just as much as the bottom line.
I recall there was one last year we saw that was pretty close. I think it was 3,000 for like maybe 5 kids or something like
that. And then, of course, there are stipends that don't face students directly, mentors, teacher leaders, things like that. Are you looking for that? Are you just looking, because I think last year it was co-curriculars and extracurriculars is what we brought forward for participation. Is that what you're kind of relegating it to?
Useful too, because perhaps there's ways we can consolidate some of that or get them covered in other ways.
Can I just ask a clarifying question of everyone? Just so we were talking about extra, right? And just maybe in your minds, what is considered extra? It's like I just want to make sure that I'm capturing it. That I guess more than anything else. But if there's something like that you can think of that would be considered extra, or maybe you're looking for us to just define what that extra is, knowing that the needs of the school district.
Personally, for me, I would leave that. I don't want to get in the weeds of it. Like I'm not doing the day-to-day. So
I got you.
I would really hope that our professional staff would be able to differentiate between what is actually needed to run their schools versus what would be nice to have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Christy.
It's a good moment to note too that when we review the budget process with staff in buildings and when principals talk with staff about it as well, the requisition template that they are given in order to put in a budget request, it has a priority column. And so that priority column has an option for them to just select 1, 2, or 3, and 1 is they're deeming it essential, right? It's essential to what I do in my classroom with my students or in my instructional space. 2 is value added, and then a 3 is like a wish list item. So in the process, they are, putting forward that priority during the planning process. Just want to note that.
Teresa, did you just put your hand up again, or was it still? Okay, go ahead.
Just to add on to the course enrollment numbers that I had requested, if we could also know, are there other options for some of these courses that, especially if they're smaller, like are they offered online? Is a possibility, or is this possibly something at the community college or LRTC?
You got it, Teresa.
Anybody else? All right, good to go. Got some stuff to get started.
Absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's the quickest time we got through a budget chat. All righty. Back to, so now we are on 7.3, which was added, right, Marco?
That is correct. Would you like me to read that one, Nicole,
yes,
or do you have it? Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it, I don't believe.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem. I've got it right here. It's 7.3, and this is to consider a field trip request by the sports management class to Boston on January 13th, 2026. And with us this evening is the teacher of that sports management class, Mr. Derek Anderson, who will speak on behalf of the trip. So, Derek, if you don't mind.
I think we need a motion first.
Oh, I apologize. Why don't I be quiet? You guys do your thing. Yeah.
I'll move it. Who would like to second? Okay, there we go. Christy and I. Pick whoever you want for the minutes. All right. Thanks, Derek. Mr. Anderson.
Hey, hi, everyone. So I'm Derek Anderson. I teach at the high school, sports and entertainment management this year. And we've done a few field trips this fall to meet with like the Portland Sea Dogs and athletic director at Thomas College. And the goal here on January 13th is to take the train down from Freeport. So we'll take school vans to Freeport, take Amtrak to North Station. There's a museum there that's connected to the Boston sports that play there, so the Celtics and the Bruins. So we'll have a tour there with someone that I've arranged, and then we're also meeting with someone in the sales and marketing department from the Bruins to sort of talk about the business of the NHL and sports. And then we've arranged for some discounted tickets, so $60 each. Will be all the way in the top and the back, but should still be enjoyable. So the total cost per kid is $125. All the kids in my class who are interested in going have been willing to pay that, so we haven't had to come up with any money as of yet. And it's 13 students total. We'll be coming back via train also. So it's a late night. We get back at 1:30 a.m. to Freeport, but it's a Tuesday night. So the kids are aware. Mr. Springer is aware of the implications of that. So that's the goal for the trip.
Would just I'd like to also add, and Derek, Mr. Springer and I, John and I both spoke, and if there's a student who cannot afford to go or has the means to make the trip, we will cover that cost for them.
Right, and I put that out there to students. There's this cost, but if you have any concerns, talk to me or with the office. And so far, no one's taken me up on that.
Okay, yeah, please keep them know. Let them know. I mean, if it's a hardship by any means necessary, we're happy to help cover that cost. It sounds like a nice opportunity.
I guess the only piece from my perspective is that when I talked with Derek, I said, yeah, of course, the financial equity for students, but also they're getting home late and we have school the next day and we're all going to see each other, even though we're taking a fun trip. So that's the expectation.
What grade was it?
It's high school, so it's grades 10 through 12.
Derek, could I ask you a real quick question? You said there's 13 that are signed up to go. How many are total in the class?
14.
So there's only one that's not elected to go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Robbie?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I saw you come off mute. So okay. Yeah. Well, then here none, I'm going to call for the vote. We have to do roll call, and I'm going to start in order by my view. So Robbie, you're first.
Yes.
Dennis. I believe that. Yeah.
Click the little microphone, Dennis.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
There we go.
All right. Thank you. Diane.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Christy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So thank you. Good luck. Have fun. Good luck the next day.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and then we have 7.4, which is another addition. It was a motion for first reading. So I'm going to go ahead and let you read that motion as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's policy JKAA, and that is restraint and, sorry, the use of physical restraint and seclusion. Before I get started, I just would like to thank Christy and the policy committee just for really doing their due diligence with our policies. It's been excellent to sit and kind of like, talk through the policy, bounce ideas off of each other. We even pulled in an expert at one point in time. We phoned a friend, and that was our director of special services, and that's special education. That's Justin, to help us with this policy. So it was a nice process as we bring it forward to you. You should have received it in your packet, and essentially there are some changes to the law that we need to then adjust our policy for, and those changes are highlighted in two areas. The first is in the policy, again, it's JKAA, under the physical restraint. That is a definition. So in that first section, it says definitions, and then it says physical restraint does not include any of the following. And so if you take a look, physical escort, that's the definition that has changed, okay? And it's important to understand this change. So the physical escort is a temporary physical contact holding the hand, wrist, arm, shoulder, or back to induce a student to walk, move, or to be transported to a safe location. And prior to this, there was a word in here. It was voluntary, right? So essentially, we removed the word voluntary that was struck from the law, and that's so before a student could be having a difficult time and disrupting a classroom or destroying property, and you really couldn't do too much about it, in the sense of like you'd have to ask the student, you need to come with me, please come with me, and with this removed, it's allows us to help a student move from one place to another, and to get class back underway, and also support our student who may need some additional assistance. So that was
Marco.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, you're just on a really good momentum. But we need a motion for a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
This is what happens when the super plays board chair, right? He just rolls it right in because I don't have it, so I apologize, everybody. So I had her move, and Diane, you moved, or Christy?
Diane and then me. Yeah.
All
Keep
right.
going, Marco.
Thank you,
No, I apologize, you guys. Yeah, I apologize. You're right. I do get rolling on stuff, so please, by all means, just tell me to stop.
That's all right. All right, continue with discussion. So
yeah, so then like the next part that I want you to draw your attention to is in the definition section, but it's under B, seclusion, and then there was a change there. I'm sorry, it's C, serious physical injury, and so the change here is an impairment of the physical condition of a person, whether self-inflicted or on someone else, that requires a medical practitioner, including but not limited to a school nurse, to evaluate and or treat the person. Some language that was changed there was person was prior was victim, and then there was some language in regards to the school nurse, and I think that was like not limited to the school nurse. So I think now it's including it. If I'm misrepresenting that in any way, I think that was correct, but I just wanted to make sure. Christy, was there anything I missed with that?
No, I mean, I think a lot of the changes, like Marco said, were due to the change in the law. And a lot of it's just kind of semantics of making sure that our language is aligning to what the new statute is requiring.
Yep, and I mean that's pretty much it as far as the changes were concerned. Again, it was good discussion around it, going back and forth, and then asking Justin to join us just for further clarification. So, if there are any questions or comments about it, by all means, let me know, and then we'll go from there, and we'll move it to a second reading.
Any questions, comments? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna call for the votes here. In order again, Robbie,
Yes.
Cyan,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Christy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and I am also a yes.
We'll bring it back. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All righty. Thank you. Committee reports. We have CAI technology this evening.
Yeah. So we met tonight and Stephanie went over the technology plans to refresh and replace some of the technology. Maybe changing iPads, maybe changing 2 iPads from Chromebooks, because a lot of the programs that we're buying for Chromebooks are already on the iPads and it comes already loaded, so we don't really need to purchase them. So she went over some of that, and then Mel and John talked about the high school courses that are being offered for next year. And they are personal finance 2, the American experience, history through film, current events, percussion, and biology honors. And then an outdoor PE class, and they have now separated, hope I got this right, an algebra class that used to be together, and they've separated because they needed more time with it. And the teachers are the ones that requested that. And that's it.
All right. Any comments, questions?
Just a comment. This is where the typo was that I found. It shows that policy met today too. So just make sure in our notes that we make that adjustment.
Yep, I was just gonna say that because we do have to, I skipped to 9.2 because I went by the December 10th date. So thanks, Christy. So yeah, we are actually gonna go back to 9.1, who did meet today, and personnel is meeting January 7th, right? Okay. Robbie?
Yep. Facilities, finance and facilities met tonight. I'll go over the numbers. We're 5 months in, which is 41.7% of the year completed as of November 30th. General fund revenue year to date, we've received $9,530. $70.99, which is 41.20% of anticipated revenue. And we're right on comparable numbers to last year. General fund expenses year to date, we've expended $8,683,632.47, and which is 38.67% of our budget. Last year at this time, we were at 39.99. So we're doing a little bit better. Adult education revenue year to date, we've received $20,716.44, which is 22.56% of the adult ed. Last year we were at 29.21. So we're doing a little bit better there. Adult education expense, we're doing a little bit less there because it's, I guess, Sam, you explained it as the breakup between a full-time and a half-time, right? In the state numbers, they'll catch back up to us.
Yeah, the subsidy for adult ed from the state is based on a couple years back,
Right.
and a lot of that comes from how much of the director position that we had. We had a full-time at one point, then I went to 0.75 for a little bit, and then 0.5. So we'll see that state subsidy in the next couple of years dip down as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Adult education expenses year to date, we've expended $35,355.24, which is 39.66% of the budget. Last year we had expended 51.32. And sorry, on the school nutrition revenue, we've received $254,731.96, which is 24.92%. And last year we were at 26.18. So we're pretty compatible there. And on the school nutrition expense side, year to date, $391,749. And last year at this time, we were at 43.83%. So that's it. And on the facility side, we talked about mostly everything that we had except for the audit. And the audit line is on track for January, right, Sam? Which is which is a little bit later, but from the scope of stuff that we have to do, the auditors are going to get us there.
Yeah, so it's due, the audit is due the end of December. So we've already requested and been granted an extension, just given the amount of the volume of work our audit team has going on right now.
All right. Questions?
All right, hearing none. Thank you, Robbie.
Yep.
Okay. I just closed my agenda out, guys. Now I think we're on to board comments. Right, okay. Thanks, Martha. Who would like to go first? Anybody?
I'll go.
Go for it, Diane.
I would like to wish all the teachers lots of patience in the next week ahead, and then a great holiday. I also would like to say thank you to the high school teachers that are working on Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving baskets that they did. That was great. But the Christmas baskets and the Christmas list they have that they're doing for people to buy things for kids in our district. And also the lights that are on for the school at the end of the day. The one on Ballpark Road is not working for telling you your speed. And the one on the other side coming from where Jilson's farm is, when you're coming up, the bottom light is not facing the correct way. It's all sideways. So you might just want to check on that.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Go ahead, Christy. I saw you next, so sorry if anybody else was there.
I just want to give a big kudos to the PTA, who did an amazing craft fair last weekend. It was so well organized and just a really fun day. Also excited for the middle school arts showcase, which includes the winter concert. Tomorrow at 6:15 is the concert for chorus and band, if anybody wants to listen to some pretty awesome music at the middle school.
All right. Thank you, Christy. Anybody else?
I'll go real quick. Craft fair as well. I just wanted to say that congratulations or kudos to the kids that raised enough money to completely pay for the science bee that's coming up. So good job on that.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Go ahead, Teresa.
want to thank all the staff who've been working so hard this year, going above and beyond, and all the hours that they put in. We appreciate you and thank you.
All right, go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, at the next Sabatis Select Board meeting, we're going to have a group of people there, contingency, that want to talk about the Sabatis primary, turning it into a community center and the town keeping that building. So if there's anybody on here from Sabatis that would like to come to that and get more information and be a part of that, that would be great. I think it's a great asset for the town, and I think it's something that will really help bring the town together. So yeah, that would be great if you could come to the meeting at 6:30 next Tuesday, the 16th.
All right, thanks, Robbie. Dennis or Matt, anything before we move on?
Nothing.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we now have 11.1 to enter into an executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA, section 405, 6A, personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All right, hearing none, I'm going to do roll call. Robbie?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Christy?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And yes for myself. Thank you. And we are entering at 8:16 p.m.
All right, give me just a minute, Nicole, to transfer ownership and make sure